Dave and Ashley Willis have become some of America's most trusted voices on issues related to marriage. Many of you knew them through Stevens Creek Community Church here in Augusta. They've relocated to Texas about a year ago, and now they're part of the Marriage Today team, where their live events, books, blogs, videos, and Naked Marriage podcast reach millions of couples worldwide. Recently, they brought a unique date night experience to Augusta's Miller Theater, and they were gracious enough while they were in town to spend a few minutes with me here on the Jennie set at Television Park. Dave and Ashley, welcome back.
Hey, thank you, Jennie. It's great to be back. I love being in Augusta.
We do.
I'm sure it must be fun to visit old friends and all of that. And you were here for the big date night at the Miller Theater with like the hometown crowd.
Oh,
so
yes.
That's really cool. One of the things that I love about you two is just how real you are. You know,
Thank you.
You want to build up people's relationships. You believe in strong marriages and strong families, but you have to be transparent about your own relationship, I guess, to be credible to
Yes.
your audience.
Absolutely.
And one of the things I really love is the bit about cuddling. I think that is so funny. And you're right, in a relationship, one is the cuddler, and I'm like you. I'm
One
like,
is not the
I'm glad I'm not
cuddler.
alone.
If every marriage had two cuddlers, nobody would get anything done. You would
Yes.
just want to cuddle all day because that's what I would do. And so when I got married, I thought, oh, we're just going to cuddle all the time. And she's not a cuddler.
I mean,
you know.
right now, this is his dream.
Yeah, this is his close.
yeah,
Yeah,
you're
this is.
right.
I'm getting so much affection, like I want to just.
He
I want to
does.
just pounce
He really wants
right
to spoon
now.
right now, but you know.
But
well, part of that is our love language.
yeah, we're all wired differently. We have different love languages. Some of us really appreciate physical touch and affection that way. Some of us appreciate more verbal and want to
Right.
just talk through things.
Yeah.
Some of us appreciate quality time, or there's different ways that we express our love. And so the key is to learn what your spouse receives as love, and then to serve them in that way instead of trying to force them to be just like you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really, really important thing.
Absolutely.
And what are some tools that we, how do we tune into that with our partner? How do you learn that?
Well, I think, just asking your spouse what you can do for them. I know that sounds, some people are like, whoa, wait a minute, that sounds kind of weird. But I mean, think about the last time, married couples who are watching this, the last time you ask your spouse, what can I do for you today that would like make your day better? And when we come from that approach, it really is disarming, because I think a lot of couples fall into this daily grind routine where they're just kind of getting through the days in survival mode instead of really tuning into what they can do to make their spouse's life better. And if you really take that approach and just ask, I promise you it'll probably take your spouse back, and they'll be like, well, actually, if you could just do this for me today, I would really appreciate it. And then it kind of puts our hearts in this posture of wanting to serve one another and wanting to bring out the best in each other. Because, we become experts of kind of all the things that are wrong with our spouse, but really we need to become experts in all the things that are right and all the ways we
Yes.
can help each other. And when we do that and make that our aim, it really kind of gives us a whole new vision for our marriage and for our spouse.
Yeah, I would totally agree with everything that you said. It really is the little things. I think sometimes in marriage we think it's only these big things. Well, like once a year we're going to do something big, and that's great. Do something big once a year.
Yeah.
But it's also those daily little things. It's really the little habits, the way you speak to each other. We'll go all day
Right.
sometimes, and we'll show courtesy to strangers. We'll say please and thank you, and we'll hold doors for people that we don't even know. And then we'll come home and give our spouse our leftovers, and we'll be demanding and cold and sarcastic. And so we just are trying to encourage couples and encouraging ourselves to give your spouse the best of yourself and not the leftovers. And if we'll just do that, it'll change everything.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things is, life happens, and then
Yes.
especially if you're a parent. So many times you're so focused on the kids and who's getting this one and taking that one there and who's doing this, and you're not thinking about your own relationship, and you just put that on the back burner. And one thing that I will find is sometimes I realize I don't think I've even looked in his eyes. I think
Yes.
we've just talked and we've said things, but I don't think I've even looked in his eyes. And I try to be mindful, of that connection.
Absolutely.
Yes. No, that's huge. Just connecting. I know right now we've got 4 boys, ages 14 to 4, so we have to be super intentional.
That is just crazy.
I mean,
to
it's,
begin with.
and they're awesome boys, but they take every bit of us, and by the end of the day, sometimes it's like, I feel like I have nothing left to give. But
Right.
and over the
Right.
years, we've had to really be intentional about this. We make sure we put our kids to bed earlier than they would like. And I get it, like my 14-year-old all the time is like, please, 30 minutes later. And I'm like, listen, I don't care if you go upstairs, maybe a little bit later, but we need time to mom and dad, like for mom and dad. You need to go to your room for a little bit because we have to have time together. And I think it's good for kids to know that their parents want to spend time together.
Yeah.
And it's not anything like real fancy. I mean, we usually will just sit, turn off, like last night we sat, our kids were in bed, turn off the TV, talk,
Ashley's not going to be
laugh.
swinging from the chandelier.
Yeah, right. I mean, really.
It's
like
usually Netflix, popcorn, and foot
popcorn,
rubs.
yeah.
And
He's great at foot rubs.
I'm pretty good at giving foot rubs.
But it's just connecting, because I think we live in a world where we can be distracted, all the time.
Absolutely.
And so it's like we have to force ourselves
Put
to
the phone
do
down,
this.
Yeah.
And it's
just
so
connect,
much better.
reconnect.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much better, because I think it's so easy to we think we're letting stuff go, but really we're growing resentful of each other, and we're just kind of building walls between each other, and we don't even realize it.
One of the things that you do, you're speakers with Marriage Today.
Yes.
And so you do marriage conferences around the country. Now, when I have experienced these before, it's great when you're there, because you've made the commitment to go. It's just the two of you, you're in the hotel, you've just got the weekend together, you go out to dinner together, and you're really focused. That's what I kind of call like the mountaintop, like a religious retreat. That's your mountaintop. How do you keep that feeling up when you get back into your day-to-day?
Well, I think it all comes back to what you do with consistency. The mountaintop experiences, unfortunately, we can't live on the mountaintop. And so if you're basing the day-to-day grind of running the kids' places to how you felt in that moment when you were on the vacation together, on the marriage retreat together, then you might feel like you're falling short. But if you'll get perspective from that mountaintop experience and then apply it to every day. So what we challenge couples to do at our retreats is to say, okay, I want you to leave here and I want you to think of one thing you're going to do differently, just one habit that you're going to do daily. Because if you'll do that one thing daily over the course of a year, your marriage will be better a year from now. And it won't be because of this conference, it'll be because you implemented something that you weren't doing. Maybe that one thing is we're going to carve out 15 minutes at the end of every day, unplug completely, and just talk, just connect. Maybe that one thing for you is we're going to do a date night every week. Maybe that one thing for you is, we're going to get involved in serving alongside each other at our church or in our community, because being a team in that way will bring us closer together. But just pick one thing and then keep adding to that one thing with another positive habit, and before you know it, your marriage is going to be built in with this rhythm of very, very healthy activities that keep you going day after day.
How did you go from a Facebook page for married couples to influencing millions of people around the world?
Well, God has a sense of humor, first of all.
We never really saw ourselves doing this. We've always had a passion for marriage, and we ourselves want to have a strong marriage, but it's been little by little. And it's kind of
you
like
were married young, right out of college.
Yes,
right.
Dave literally graduated one weekend. We got married the next weekend.
College.
I was still in
Still
college.
Okay.
And so it was, it's been crazy, but I love it, and it's just kind of one thing at a time. We're like, if this door opens, let's just see where this takes us. And there's such a need for marriage. And for marriage resources, for marriage encouragers. We don't say we're experts, we consider ourselves encouragers, because there's no perfect people in the world, so there's certainly no perfect marriage, but we can always be making progress. And so we want to encourage people in that and let them know, like, there's always a way to have progress in your marriage and to make it better in some way. But
so when your name comes up and under it says marriage expert, you would rather say marriage encourager.
We would. Well, because there's people who've been married a lot longer.
I have a sense of humor in post-production. I'm just saying.
Oh goodness.
We try to not get hung up on titles anyway.
Oh, exactly.
But really, at the core of what we're trying to do is just encourage couples. Encourage them to take one more step toward each other, take one more step to make healthy habits, and reminding ourselves to do those same things along the way. And all these things that have happened in terms of the books and the live events and all these.
And the podcast.
The Naked Marriage podcast.
The podcast is
which,
great.
Thank you.
It's been really fun to do that.
And the name, Naked, you have to click.
What is
Naked Marriage?
And the naked marriage isn't our idea. It was God's idea. When you look at that very first married couple, the word naked is used to describe them over and over, and it's not just physically that it's being described, even though they were obviously physically naked, but it's a picture of saying God wants our marriage to have no secrets. Nakedness is a picture of no secrets, total transparency, no masks, no walls we're building up around each other. And that kind of intimacy where we don't have to pretend to be something we're not around each other, we don't have to hide from each other, we can know each other completely and love and accept each other completely. That's the kind of marriage that God wants all of us to have, and that's really what a naked marriage is. So and plus the title's fun. When you see the word naked, like you say, you got to click, you got to listen. And so we're excited that our book and our podcast have that title.
Yeah.
Do you have just another minute? Because there's one tough thing I want to ask.
Sure. Why don't you, she's the smart one, so why don't you ask her if it's tough?
Hang on just a minute. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, a tough question about texting, privacy, and transparency. We'll be right back with Dave and Ashley. Welcome back, everyone. We're talking with marriage encouragers, Dave and Ashley Willis. And when we broke away for the commercial, we were talking about transparency.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you about one thing that I think is probably something that married couples deal with all the time. And a lot of that is texting or emailing or Facebook messaging. You know, it's really easy for people to creep in from our past.
Oh, yeah.
And Dave wrote, and Ashley, you may have too, I just happened to see it in one of Dave's things that I was reading, that if you are texting someone of the opposite sex and you wouldn't want your spouse to read it, don't send it.
Right, that's a good policy.
Definitely. Because, I mean, really, you know, we say this a lot in our conferences. Would you feel okay with your spouse right next to you watching you write that, like, or saying that thing to the person of the opposite sex? Would it be okay for you to have your spouse right there next to you? Because if not, then we're probably not saying something that we should say to that person of the opposite sex. And people I don't think anybody tries to engage in an affair. Like, they don't make it their mission to go have an affair with somebody and bust up their relationship. But it happens very subtly when we say things or do things that are just a little bit out of bounds. And before you know it, we're heading down this rabbit hole we never saw coming. And we're engaged in this relationship where our heart, you know, we feel this heart connection with this other person, and we feel close to them. And we say this not to make anybody feel bad. It's just that we've seen it happen so many times in all the couples we've worked with over the years. And we want people, it's better to kind of protect yourself, because we've got to have boundaries in marriage. And I think we can get in so much trouble if we don't have boundaries with people of the opposite sex.
And these are boundaries that couples 20 years ago didn't think about.
Right.
Right, the technology's changed the whole game. We have to have conversations and safeguards in place now that didn't even exist a generation ago. And so
I mean, my husband and I both have had relationships from the past, a college girlfriend or college boyfriend or whatever. Find us on Facebook, and it's fun to see, you know, hey, what's up? What did you do? But you have to be careful, because that can be one of those rabbit holes. Is that what you're saying?
It can.
Absolutely.
I think
if you're hiding it, or maybe hiding is too strong a word.
But if you are hiding anything in marriage, then that's a huge red flag in itself. We always say secrecy is the enemy of intimacy. And if you want to have an intimate marriage, if you want to have a naked marriage, the way we describe it, it's really a marriage where there's no hiding. There's no hidden text messages, there's no hidden bank accounts, there's no hidden correspondences, that you would never have a conversation with somebody online or in person that you wouldn't have if your spouse was standing right there. And if you'll live with that kind of transparency and trust, it builds such trust in the marriage, it builds such a connection in the marriage, and it builds kind of walls of protection around you that can keep you from falling into things like affairs. Most people, like Ashley said, they don't intend to go out and break their spouse's heart and break their marriage having an affair. An affair isn't just one big bad decision. Usually it's 1,000 little bad decisions that lead up to the one big bad decision. It's when you don't have any boundaries and you just start making little compromises, and one little compromise leads to another. And so if you have the right boundaries in place, those compromises never start.
Well, like, something I would consider is when someone, like, let's say an old flame, you know, writes them on Facebook or something like that, you got to be really careful with your compliments. I think sometimes, you know, it's nice to be like, I mean, I love hearing a compliment from people, and I love, you know, sharing kind words, but your compliments sometimes can go too far, and that can really cause, you know, some attachments to form, especially if it's an older relationship and you have this history with this person. And so we talk a lot about that you have to be really careful with your compliments, because get you into some
Yeah.
trouble.
Well, and the other thing too, especially something from the past like that, it takes you back to a time in your life when you didn't have laundry for 4 boys, and you
Yes.
didn't have grocery
Right.
shopping, and you
Right.
didn't have, you know, the bills and all the day-to-day.
Yes.
You were freer, and you were probably just you. And I
Yeah.
think that it transports you to something that's not reality anymore.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
very well
I think
said.
people get in big trouble when they start comparing their current reality to a fantasy that either doesn't exist at all, or that, you know, maybe in their mind they've romanticized and it exists in the past, and it can
Yeah.
pull you away from living fully and completely right where you are. And so you got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Well, you all are filled with such good advice. How can people find you? Just tell one more time. How can?
Sure.
Because there are a lot of ways, and you have a new book too.
Yes, yes. If you go to daveandashleywillis.com, you can find us there. You can find about our resources, our books. You can find videos, you know, more like what we've been talking about today, and about our Naked Marriage podcast. It's wherever you can listen to podcasts.
That's great. Well, keep up the good work. Thank you for encouraging couples all around the world, and for the great role models that you are, and just by being your transparent selves for everyone.
Well, thank you, Jenny. It's
Thank
an
you
honor
for
to be
having
here.
us.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll be right back. Up next on Jennie, you've got one more weekend to catch the latest production at Fort Gordon Dinner Theater. We've got the details after the break.